Hey, what's up? I'm Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. On this episode, I'll be talking to multi-platinum, many-time Grammy-nominated, and most recently, #1 at rock radio, the singer-songwriter and frontman for the band Daughtry, Chris Daughtry. Let's go. How do you keep going back to the music instead of all the other stuff that we're kind of told is important?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like if you were trying to get the #1, you wouldn't have got it.
Absolutely.
But you were trying to make a good record and then you got the #1. Like, I think it's probably something like that. I'm going to let you answer. But I'm just like thinking about it in real time and trying to work it out because I'm always looking for the answer of like, how do you keep going back to the art and not all the other stuff?
You know, it's crazy. There were years where it felt like we're chasing that radio song. We're chasing that hit. We're chasing that #1. And shit just stopped. Like it just came to a screeching halt. And we were, surrounded by people like, oh, guitars aren't cool anymore, and we're drinking the Kool-Aid. We're going,
what
oh shit,
do?
we want to stay relevant. Oh fuck, it gets us over. We need to pivot. We need to be doing what these guys are doing. And
it's fucking confusing.
It's so confusing. And I'm still, at least when I look back, I feel like I was still relatively new to the industry, and you want to believe that everyone around you is telling you the truth, or that everything they're saying is gospel.
These are the experts.
Yeah. These are the ones that are, paying the bills. They must know what they're talking about.
What do I know?
And 5 records in, I find myself questioning if I'm a good songwriter, if I'm
crazy.
If I'm even supposed to be doing this, or if my best shit's behind me, or are we just done? Did we have our moment and this is it?
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
Then COVID hits. I've completed my record contract with RCA, and I'm going, wait a minute. Am I chasing, or am I doing what I really feel in my heart that I should be doing? Am I writing the kind of music that inspired me as a 16-year-old kid to want to get in front of a mic in the first place? And the answer was no. And I'm like, well, why am I not doing that? There's nobody telling me I can't. And I'm not, I'm not at the helm of some big corporation now or record label saying this is the kind of record you should be doing. Or at this point, I was just alone with my thoughts and my own feelings about my own art. And in that regard, COVID was kind of a huge blessing for me, because it was like it forced me to look within myself and question. It was kind of like this existential crisis, am I doing what really fulfills me? And the answer was no. And when I started going back and listening to these records that really got me fired up as a kid to want to be in a rock band, and I was like, well, why am I not doing that? Why am I not writing the stuff that makes me feel something, and makes me feel artistically fulfilled?
And excited.
Yeah. It's like, if I'm picturing myself on stage right now, am I giving myself the feeling that those bands that I saw as a kid gave me? And if not, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So at that point, I just started digging into those records again and kind of getting re-energized and inspired. And the irony is, we're having more success now at rock radio than we ever had. So
funny.
It's that, and I wasn't chasing a hit. I wasn't chasing a radio song. It was like, let's write from here. Let's be vulnerable here. Let's really put our truth out there and let the people decide.
I think that is like the key to life.
Yeah.
I learned that somewhere in the last 10 years. We're around the same age, I think, probably. I don't believe in like right and wrong when it comes to like living life and growth, and like you're on your own path and you're only where you're at, right?
Yeah.
And your
path is different than mine, and vice versa.
Until I come to terms with where I'm really at, then I can grow.
Yeah.
But if I'm living in a delusion that I'm somewhere that I'm not, and that's tricky, right? Because we can surround ourselves with people who feed the lie of like who we really are, where we're really at. And like a lot of entertainment, it's tricky because you can be a pretender, and you can actually be a great pretender, and you can live a whole life.
Yeah.
And it's not wrong, by the way. It's because it's entertainment. So you're like, what part of my life is entertainment and what part of my life is my real life?
Right.
And like, where are the lines? And they can get blurred, and you can get all like, it's why I always say, like, if you don't need to do this, if you don't die for this, making music, don't do it as a career.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
I've had a lot of young people ask me, you got any career advice on starting a band? I was like, yeah, don't.
Don't. And if I say don't, and you still need to do it,
Then do it. Yeah.
and fucking give it your all, but understand that like you're not choosing. It's a roller coaster in all the greatest ways. And I don't know any artist, because I sit across from you and I know it. I can feel it. I can feel it at any time. Anyone who's sitting in this chair who has success has worked their fucking ass off for it and has been through some adversity and hard shit, because life presents us with pain and life presents us with suffering. None of us escape it.
Absolutely.
It's the truth of life. It's how do we navigate the pain of life? How do we make sense of it? And then on the other side of it, how do we enjoy life, succeed, become better, grow? Just going back to your latest music, because I feel it. When I listen to it, it's exciting. It feels like it's not phoned in. It feels like there's something at stake.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. It's just a feeling in a song. It doesn't matter how you wrote it, but you could, if someone said to you, hey, go in tomorrow and make a rock song. And you know what? We're going to bring this writer in, this producer in, and you guys go make a rock song. You could make a rock song.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be really good. And maybe you'll catch that lightning in a bottle and you'll be excited. But you could also just phone it in, make the song, ship it out, and get it done. And there's a difference. It's like an intangible feeling.
Yeah.
And when I heard your new music, I was like, oh, I mean, it's in line with all your best stuff.
Thank you, man.
It's like the icing on the cake, because you've already succeeded. You got all the award nominations and awards you won, and platinum records and gold records and all the things you've accomplished. Someone could argue you don't have to do it. When I hear the music, I feel like someone who had to make a record. So it feels deeper.
Yeah. I have to. There's nothing, like, there's no doubt in my mind that I have to do this.
Yeah, I feel it.
And
You're bleeding a little bit on that record.
Yeah, it's become therapy for me. It's become how I process the pain and the hard shit life throws at us. It's how I've been able to move through pain and loss and hard shit. And I feel like as I'm putting this out and I'm putting this on paper and I'm putting this in the music, that somehow I'm saying things that maybe other people can't or don't know how, and that's the reason for it. That it connects us. It makes someone feel they're not alone. If that's all that comes out of it, that I feel like I'm doing my part or living out my purpose in some way. Because I don't know if everyone has the tools to move through hard shit. I've kind of found out these tools the hard way through life, and I feel like that is what my purpose is in the music now. To let someone know, guess what? I feel that shit too. I've been there too. You're not alone. Life is hard. There is light at the other side of this, So yeah, in that way, I feel that I have to do this for myself, and it's not about the AMAs or the Grammy nominations or any of that shit anymore, where I used to live in that world where it was like, oh, we just got to get this, or it was more about that as opposed to,
right,
man, there's a real meaning behind this.
Right. Well, I think if you can survive the novelty of the new experience, right? Like,
and that's just part of growing up too. I mean,
right.
You said we're around the same age. I tell people all the time, like, the 40s have been my best decade yet.
Best decade for me.
I mean, hands down. I was scared as shit to say bye to my 30s. And for whatever reason, it was like a switch went off and I felt like I kind of settled into this meat suit a little bit more,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah, you got.
I think I know what I'm supposed to be doing in life now. And like, I get this now. And there's a real purpose behind it. And all of this shit that led to this has prepared me for this next level of the game.
I agree. I think I got like in my body, and I think I got comfortable with looking at the bill. You know what I mean? I think we don't want to see the bill of anything.
Yeah.
We don't want to look at the cost.
Yeah.
We want to go do this, do that, but we don't want to measure the cost.
Right.
And then the bill gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you don't look at that check and pay it, it's going to build up, and you're going to have to pay it at some point.
Yeah.
And some people pay with their lives,
Yeah.
and some people pay with their loss.
Yeah.
And so in my 40s, I realized in my early 40s, I'm 45. So
We are about the same. I'll be 45 in December.
there you go. So I realized, I got to pay the check every day.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's going to the gym, if it's
Checking in with yourself.
checking in with myself, if it's checking in with my wife, if it's making a healthy decision versus an unhealthy one, because I had a propensity to want to escape.
Oh, me too, my
And
friend.
it would build up and build up. And then you'd go out and have some big night or some weekend where you're just trying to escape.
Yep.
But then on Monday or Tuesday or whatever
day.
you got a check to pay.
Yeah.
And you gotta clean up some damage, and you gotta make sense of it. I started working on that, and it was a real thing in my life, and I'm still working on it, if I'm being
Same.
honest. But I've come so far in that need to get out of my real life because I'm too scared
Oh, yeah.
of the real life. For me, I think it was coming from a traumatic childhood and having a rough start. The idea that any of this could really work out for me was it's still one that I'm still getting my arms around and holding it long enough. You just got to hold it as long as you can.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us will hold it and put it down. That's too good for me.
But you understand what it is and what the risks are of losing it. And that's
the
the
stakes
thing.
get higher.
When you start to realize that, and you realize every choice you make impacts that in some way, negatively or positively, it all becomes like, oh, shit is real. And I have to take responsibility of my part in that.
Yes.
And realize that
It's real.
everything I do or think or say or affects my circle in a good way or a bad way. And I started going to therapy.
Me too.
You go through life thinking that, my childhood was absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
And then you get to an age where shit starts to come up and you're like, oh, that's why I do this. Oh, that's why I do this. Oh, I need to look at this. I need to look at myself here and stop blaming everyone around me
Yep.
for
Yeah.
shit that's happened and go, oh, wait a minute. It's me. I gotta like figure this out. And that's part of this
Growth.
game or whatever you want to call it that life is. And I've spent many nights, regretting things and
No doubt.
thinking about things that I wish I could change. And then you realize, would just change it for tomorrow. Just change it for today. Can't change what has happened, but you can learn from it and you can actually do something about it now. And that's when you realize if you're serious or not,
There is this call to action that we have in other places, right? For whatever reason, our call to action to get after it with music is there. It's never been a problem for me or you.
Yeah.
You work hard. You work your ass off. I work my ass off. That's not a problem. I get up every day and work 14 hours, no problem. Because I love what I'm doing, I never stop dreaming, and I never stop wanting to play that game. But then there's this other thing where we got to get that same call to action around the things that we never let develop in our life. Maybe it was like our emotional well-being. Maybe it was our emotional life. Maybe it was whatever. And I have this like dark little place in me where we're cruising down the highway. Like metaphorically of life, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to run the car off the fucking road.
Oh my God.
Just to see. I just want to see if I'll survive.
See what this does.
I just have the urge to drive right off the road into the fucking ditch.
Yeah, I joke about that with my wife all the time.
It's a real deep pain.
Yeah, it's
a
real.
deep pain. It's real. It's like everything's good. but there's a wall right there and I'm going 80, 90 miles an hour.
yeah.
I wonder if I just fucking run into that wall.
Yeah.
I find it's, I don't want to say, here's the thing is I've learned how to love myself, to not have shame around that part of me, but to just let it be there.
Yeah.
And to try and like understand it, because there's some value there when it comes to intense moments in life. I could stay pretty calm.
Yeah.
And I can handle a lot of stress and pressure, but it's when everything's calm and good where I think I want a little bit of destruction.
Yeah.